Welcome back to a slice of Italy. Because for 20 points in the summer of Series 34, you can go ahead and grab yourself the Lamborghini Countach from 2021. Is that the right way to say his car's name? I don't know. This thing starts out with a whopping 808 brake horsepower with 556 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs a whopping 4,116 pounds. So this thing's very, very hefty, even with a 6.5 litre V12 engine. So this thing's essentially meant to be the, I guess, modern day Lamborghini Countach, because Lamborghini decided they wanted to go ahead and bring back the retro theme with a little hint of cyan in the taillights, which doesn't look too bad. And by cyan, I mean the Lamborghini cyan, not the colour. But it doesn't look too bad at all. Going to the inside is more reminiscent of a modern day Lamborghini, although we've got a few less screens aside from the massive one in the middle that acts as our rev gauge. And now let's go ahead and take a listen to that V12. So here we are now over in the upgrade shop. We're going to jump straight to conversion and then over to engine swap and see what we've got. We've only got one, which is a racing V12, which I think might actually be less power than this thing stock. If you want to, we can also go ahead and add some twin turbos, which will take us to nearly 1,000 brake horsepower, which is absolutely insane. And we'll come back and do that in just a little bit. And we can also go ahead and make this thing a rear wheel drive as well for some reason. I don't know why, but we can. So as for aero and appearance, going to the front of the car, we've got ourselves a lovely Forza splitter with no tow hook, which honestly makes it look it just looks a bunch better, honestly, at this point. And we've also got ourselves the good old-fashioned Forza rear wing that is on pretty much everything at this point. I think the option for us getting new Forza Aero is way out of the question. As for tyres, this thing starts out stock on semi-slick tyres, which is pretty cool, and we can go up to full race slicks as well, should we wish to. However, I won't be doing the upgrading because Mac has come back with a brand new tune for us. So let's go ahead and, of course, load up the share code because it's only right to do so. There it is. Feel free to go ahead and download that tune for yourself. And that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. So with this tune installed, there's been no change to the stock horsepower, but we are now lighter at just a shade under 3,690 pounds, and it only cost us 43,900 credits. Honestly, I'm looking forward to driving this tune. I don't know anything about it, so I'm practically driving it blind, but hopefully it'll be pretty cool. Okay, so here we are now over at the paint shop, so we'll go ahead and see we've got nothing in advance, kind of becoming the normal at this rate. We've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different manufacturer colours. We of course have got ourselves a bright orange. We've got, I won't say it's a ketchup red, more of a cherry red, which does look pretty cool, and a really, really, really nice shade of blue, and we're keeping it. So honestly, the Lamborghini Countach does look very, very interesting indeed. It is definitely, you can see the resemblances between this and of course the older one from the 80s. There's quite a lot of similarities indeed, especially in the body shape if you look at them side by side. But if you wanted to go ahead and grab one of these, you're going to have to be pretty quick, as there's not many of these available, because Lamborghini have decided to only make 112. So you might have better chance finding it as a Hot Wheels car. And away we go. We've got ourselves our pretty cool little Lamborghini right here. We're in 8th at the moment, and we've got an aim to finish in 1st. We're on my good old fancy test track, the Aventador Sprint, which is honestly where I think actually one of the rivals takes place this week, which is a pretty cool one indeed. But we're going to focus more on the car that we're driving today, a cool little Lamborghini. And in fact, there's another one over there, the Aventador, also known as the Horizon 3 cover car. But we're going to go ahead and just overtake those real quick. And on the brakes, how good are they? How good are the brakes? They're actually really good. Oh, hello everybody. Back to the safety of the interior view. Now, if you want one of these things, you're going to have a pretty cool bank account, because these things can cost anywhere between 2.6 to 2.7 million US dollars. Now, again, I'm never sure that is in pound sterling, but I'm sure there'll be a little explanation up on screen for you all. Here we are now at 95%, one more turn to go. Sadly, it won't be a win this time by the looks of things, because there's a couple cars ahead of us, and honestly, this thing is kind of tricky to drive, but we've got ourselves a pretty cool 3rd place with a time of 1 minute 57, so still on the podium. So there's a little bit of an attempt to get it somewhere, but yeah, I'm kind of hoping that it would do a little better than that, but then again, it's kind of really not built for racing, it's built for just showing off and having fun. But in the meantime, we've got one more tune to go ahead and throw at this thing before we go and do a whole bunch more chaos, and that is of course the drag racing tune, which again has been built by Big Macintosh at 762, so massive thank you to them for helping me out. There's the share code, feel free to go ahead and download it, and again, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. So with this tune, we've got ourselves just a shade under 3,000 pounds in weight and nearly 1,200 brake horsepower, and all of that for only 109,450 credits. Man, this is expensive. Alrighty, here we are now over at the back of the Horizon Festival, so let's go ahead and see. Do we get a bit of a wheelie check from this thing? No, kind of do, kind of don't, but Go ahead and see what this thing can do on the drag strip then. Here we are now over at the edge of the drag strip, so let's go ahead and get ourselves onto launch control, even though the one thing I was told was not to use launch control this tune, but we're going to be rebellious and do it anyway, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we get out of this. I'm hoping for a decent amount of speed, but this thing is, again, nearly 3,000 pounds in weight, which is absolutely just hefty. And then through the camera at 193, and off the end of the drag strip at a whopping 211 miles an hour and 0 brakes. Ah, the good old trends back once more. Right, now we're back at the upgrade shop, and this time I can start working on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and of course throw on the twin turbos, make this thing look pretty cool indeed, or make it sound pretty cool, or make it go pretty cool, and we're going to go ahead and upgrade. So here we are now with 3,363 pounds in weight, with a whopping 1,204 brake horsepower. We've finally broken the 1,200 mark, and we've only got to pay 27,350 credits. And now the fun thing is, that I thought I'd escape from, I've got to sit here and tune everything. Oh dear. However, before we go any further, here's this week's Forza shop. We've got ourselves the Ferrari 288 GTO, the Extreme E pink race suit, the dial tone car horn, which sounds a bit like this. Ah yes, the sounds of the 90s, I remember them well, even though technically I wasn't alive to the early 2000s. Anyway, moving swiftly on, we've got the Nissan R390, also known as the GT1, the Hot Wheels Sundress, which isn't too bad. We've also got the Horizon Super Wheel Spin alongside the regular Horizon Wheel Spin as well. And now, out to the motorway. Alrighty, here we are now over at the edge of the motorway, and so away we go. Hopefully we're going to get a pretty decent speed. I'm aiming for, hopefully, I'm going to say around maybe 250. Or at least I hope we get around 250 anyway. Also, a cool thing for the Horizon Retro Wave series is we've got ourselves some neons. They look a lot better during the night. And out of the speed zone at 242.43, which is not too bad, but again, I was kind of hoping this thing would get quicker, especially considering how quick the Lamborghini Aventador can get, and the Huracan, which has pretty much just as much horsepower as this thing, and only weighs a little bit less. But anyway, let's go ahead and get over to the downhill and speed camera. Speaking of, there it is, 250.42 going downhill now, 253, 254, 255, no, 256, I stand corrected. Going all the way down here, and any second we'll go on the brakes. There we go. Let's go ahead and see if we can stop before the middle of the thing, and I mean, that's not too bad braking distance really. And now it's time to do something stupid. Yep, you guessed it, we're taking this thing drifting. Something I don't think any Lamborghini owner has ever done before, but well, let's go ahead and just set a first for it, the first for everything. And here we go. Out of the drift zone at 40,420 points, which is pretty cool indeed. Can you do it back the other way? Let's find out. Okay, round number 2, we're sending it back here. We've got to try and avoid the bridge if we can, but still keep it very, very sideways. And out we go, nearly the same, 38,007 points, I think that was. I didn't expect this thing to be good, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect this thing to be good at drifting, yet here it is, doing that. And weirdly, it also looks a bit like a cheese wedge, although very mouldy because the paint's blue, and blue cheese is mouldy. In the meantime, that is this video on the brand new 2021 Lamborghini Countach. Honestly, it's a pretty cool car, I'm not gonna lie. It is very, very good indeed. I love the color choices for it. There's a lot of customization with this thing. I wish we had a little better aero, but then again, I don't know what aero kits are even available for this thing, if there are any. But it's only 20 points, so feel free to go ahead and pick up one of these for yourself. And honestly, I think I might turn this thing into a little bit of a cruising car for car shows. In fact, if anybody knows of any Forza car shows, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'll go ahead and see you all in the next one. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for watching. Sack out. See ya. Imagine putting one of these in Formula Drift.